Well, oh boy. So, back from Chicago, and I thought I'd do a video, kind of document some thoughts, because it was a wild journey, lots of fun, and I'll just tell you about a bunch of things that happened while I was over there. And I thought, this isn't going to be a short video, so if you want one of those quick YouTube videos, you probably better jump along. I'm just going to ramble on for a bit. And then, am I going to post the video? Yeah, if it comes out alright, I'll post the video. If not, who knows. So, I went to the Chicago Pipe Show. I'm about to pack a pipe. Just going to pack my Oscar Tiger. I forget. I forget. I think it's a Savinelli. Someone will correct me. And while I was there, I'm just going to pack it with. This is a Chicago. This is a Seattle Pipe Club blend. I believe it's out next month, but they were. You could get samples of it at the show. So this is a Seattle Pipe Club crumble cake, which they're really fond of doing, which makes me very happy. And this is called Wild Man. Great aroma to it. It's quite a spicy latakia down low, but there, spicy. And mysterious. Something mysterious is in there. I've had one or two bowls. This isn't a tobacco review. I'll do a review of this later, probably, if I have enough left to do a review with. But I just thought I'd tell you about it while I'm smoking it. I'm still sort of getting my head around it. It's I don't even know what to call it. Because of the latakia, I want to call it in English, but there's things going on in it. But I'm not quite sure. I haven't unpicked it yet. Because, like I say, it's kind of a spicy thing going on. Latakia down below, and it sort of mumbles along like that for a little bit, and then it goes quite deep. Like in a burly way deep, and kind of the latakia kind of dies off, or it, like I said, because it's a subtle amount of latakia, it doesn't seem to be able to. It loses the fight against whatever is the earthy note. I could be wrong. There could be no burly in it at all. But it's just vaguely dark, fiery note. Could be talking out of my hat. Excuse me while I load my pipe here. Okay, right, so we went to Chicago. Man, that took forever. It really was planes, trains and automobiles. Because we went from Birmingham to Frankfurt, from Frankfurt to the O'Hare Airport in Chicago. And of course the very first thing you really discover about the Chicago Pipe Show is that it's not in Chicago. Not by, maybe by American standards, anywhere that's vaguely close to Chicago is considered Chicago, but this, St. Charles, is not near Chicago. And then the next irony is that it's not really in St. Charles either. This show's in the middle of nowhere by English standards. It's in the middle of nowhere. When we got in, we thought, obviously the first thing we thought we'd do is find somewhere to eat, and that was like, we just found that we appeared to be in the middle of a motorway, more or less. I don't think it was a motorway. I think it was just a road. But to English eyes, it looked like a motorway. It's like, had 8 lanes, you know, each side had 4 lanes. That was great. So we had to cross. It was like a motorway, but with traffic lights for you to cross, which, you know, seemed like utter insanity, but it's the only way to get around. So you had to give it a go. And of course, then the traffic lights give you a countdown as you're walking across, as if to say, get a move on or you'll be run over. And the first night, so we ate at a place called Portillo's. And the taxi driver, when we'd asked what we should get, he said, you got to get Italian beef. And he laughed when we didn't know what Italian beef was. And so we just got to the restaurant and asked for Italian beef. Took them home. And unwrapped what appeared to be the greasiest sandwiches known to man. I mean, incredibly greasy. Delicious, but so greasy. So we thought. Of course, the next day, when we're talking to somebody about it, they educate us on the finer points of Italian beef. Or I don't know if this is just the way, maybe it's the way everyone does it, but it's the way that Portillo's do it. So it seems that by default, if you don't say anything, your sandwich is dipped. Dipped? You say? Yeah, they dip their sandwiches in gravy. So that's what it was. It wasn't grease. Well, I mean, it may well have been a greasy gravy, but it had been deliberately dipped in gravy. And that's what you get if you, in Portillo's, if you don't specify, you get it dipped. So it was, you can have dipped, extra gravy, or dry. And dry is just some gravy. So there's no such thing as no gravy. This has to be pointed out. Dry, which is obviously as least liquid as you can go, is still some gravy. There you go. But it did make me feel a lot better having eaten it. So actually the timings worked out quite well when we got there, because it reset our day. I can't remember what time now we arrived, but in our time it was quite late in the evening. And in Chicago it was 3 in the afternoon. So obviously we had to keep going. And I can't remember what time we conked out. We couldn't go on beyond, I think, 10. Because 10 was about, it was 3:30 or 4:30 in the morning our time. We were just done. But it meant that when we went to sleep, this is the other part of the story that I haven't told you, we would be up in time. Now, why do we have to be up in time? Right, we went on Thursday. And the reason that I went on Thursday was because I thought it'll give us Friday to recuperate, get our bearings a little bit, all ready for Saturday. Because as everyone knows, this show is Saturday and Sunday. Well, while we were trying to find some food initially, we bumped into Janos, who is a Greek pipe maker. You probably know him, but if you don't, he's extremely well known, crazy, lovely pipe maker. In fact, I have done a collaboration pipe with him that you may have seen pictures of. And that was at the show as well. But we bumped into him, and he said, what were we doing? And we said, oh, just stumbling around, trying to find something to eat. And I said, yeah, and tomorrow we're sort of chilling, and, we'll see you Saturday. And he looked at us like we were insane. He said, no, you have to come to the smoking tent in the morning. And I said, what are you talking about? He said, that's the unofficial start to the Chicago Pipe Show. Unofficial start to the Chicago Pipe Show. He said, yeah, a lot of pipe makers sell out on the unofficial start to the Chicago Pipe Show. Now, I don't know if that story is apocryphal, but he was certainly correct that there is an unofficial start to the Chicago Pipe Show that you don't have to book a table for. It's just kind of a first come, first served. You have a bit of time, and then, everyone gets a go, sort of thing. And there's quite a few people milling about. And so, because they were we had to get up to what to them would be quite early, to us was in fact just normal getting up time. So we had to be at the tent for I think we made it there for about 7, but all the people who were in the know were already there, set up, and the place was already buzzing at 7 in the morning. And that was really great, and we got to meet quite a few people. Jeremiah from Bulldog Pipes, who, if you don't know, is an Aussie pipe maker who is just lovely. Him and his wife, I think, wife, Steph. She was really great. They were a lovely couple. And actually we spent the rest of the day with them once we got a table. They were right next to us on one side, and some tobacco sellers on the other side. And that was really good. And we got to meet a lot of people were milling around in their smoking tent on Friday, mostly pipe makers or people in the trade one way or another. With a few folks. So a lot of nattering, a lot of smoking of pipes. A very unexpected start to the day there. Now, I'm just going to light this fellow, so bear with me. I was going to need another match. There's something sweet on top there as well. Yeah. There's just a vague vanilla note there. Very subtle. But definitely there. Latakia. something tart and sweet. Reminds me a touch of Sillam's Black. That sort of crossover blend. Slightly aromatic. Wisp of Latakia. Already there's that earthy quality coming through. Anyway, so spent the day in the smoking tent on Friday. So Saturday. So although Friday did buzz along nicely, Saturday did prove to be the real start to the Chicago Pipe Show. So I don't know what stories about people selling out on Friday are, but there didn't seem to be a lot of business going down on Friday. It was a very social event. But we did meet up with some of the Speakeasy crew who were partying it massive, as I'm sure you'd expect, in the smoking tent later on. Met up with the Speakeasy crew a couple of times that weekend, and they were a fantastic bunch. I'm just going to shout out to Andrew Levins because he did loads for the group there. He brought up a bunch of art hampers, and I know that he's going to be posting them off to people left, right, centre. He seems to get lumbered with that job a couple of times, but he's happy to do it, and so cheers, man. So yeah, Saturday was the real start to the show. For us, at any rate. And we had a really... Actually, it couldn't have been a better setup, because we were just across the way from Ollie Sylvester Monstrosity Pipes, which, as a vibe, Monstrosity Pipes with Eldritch Pipes, that worked really nicely. We were the corner of weird. And then just right down at the other end of our aisle was Brandon Brooks. Oh, a little further down was Thompson Pipes, JTL. No, I'll probably mess that up. JL Thompson, JLT, JL Thompson Pipes. I had a lovely chat with him. He was one of the few pipe makers I had a chat with. We actually, we kind of like went down the rabbit hole of pipe making and started talking techniques and things. I kept it loose with a lot of the other pipe makers. I had a natter with Brandon, met up with Brian Orton, who is probably the most chilled guy you'll ever meet. And the day began. And the first day went quite well. I wasn't sure what to expect, obviously, never having been there before. And man, it's big. It's big. When you've only known the Nottingham Pipe Show before, bear with. It's really big. And it was kind of, I was just trying to watch what was going on and trying to take it all in. Because you need to watch what other people are doing, they know the show, they kind of like know its ups and downs. And I knew that, I had that feeling that Saturday really was the big day. For some people they said it was Friday, some other people said it was Saturday. For me, it definitely was the Saturday. And we were, I definitely sold the most pipes on Saturday. We sold loads of ice hampers on Saturday. We sold some pipe stands. It was all going on Saturday. And then we met up again with the Seattle Pipe. I don't know why I keep saying with the Speakeasy Club again that evening. And then we went to Culver's for our tea. Any Americans, I think, will probably be cringing that we went to Culver's, but we actually found it quite nice. I had a Reuben sandwich, and it was really good. I didn't have any frozen custard, which apparently is what they're famous for. Yeah, and I was showing other pipe makers the resin that I've started making in rods, specifically for pipe makers this time. I produced resin in the past, blanks, pen blanks that you can use for stems, but you can use for pens. The rods are almost, you can use it for pens, but I made it in mind pretty much for pipe makers, as a kind of a Cumberland replacement. Actually, I'll show you a bit of it on a pipe that I've made, because I'm going to show you some pipes in a minute, I think. Also, being across the way from Monstrosity Pipes, from Ollie, turned out really good for me, because on the Sunday, I saw something gold on his table. I hadn't noticed it before. And it turned out to be my favourite tobacco. So I was finally able to restock. I had gotten perilously low. Whereas I now have a full 200-gram jar. That'll keep me going for about, the next 12 months, I should think. Also, maybe I will have to go to Chicago next year. Quite a long way to go for 200 grams of tobacco, though. What else can I say? So Sunday was actually pretty good. It was quite mellow. It definitely was the tail end of the show, but there was still lots of stuff going on in the morning. And we still did a bit of business, some worthwhile business. What else did I do? Oh yeah, I bought some more other tobacco as well. Bought a really large tin of Mississippi River, the 8-ounce tin of Mississippi River, which is cool, so I won't need that for a while. I really am pretty well stocked up now on some of the harder to find things. In fact, it was quite funny having a chance to go around the tobacco stands. There was Ewan Rees, I think I'm saying that right. They're the main tobacconist in Chicago, I think. They're quite famous. They have a big online site as well, and they were there. But most of the tobaccos, they bought all the English, European blends out. I suppose because over there, that's the hardest to find stuff, but it's like, oh man, I can get this at home easy. I didn't see them with anything really, really interesting. Cornell and Deal had a table. I was semi-tempted. Because they have so many blends. you know, I did sort of look up and down their table a bit, but because we'd only come with hand luggage, I could only take 200 grams each, so I kind of had to be careful. I'd already got the Penzance, I'd already got the Mississippi River, so I had to play it cagey. It's really gone a sort of plummy, like stewed prunes. Plummy, it's a dark fruit. So, yeah, that was Sunday. I can't remember if we did anything else on Sunday. Oh, that's right. I remember. We did go into the smoking tent in the evening. Met up with Brandon Brooks and his boy, and they were smoking huge fat cigars. And that was funny. I won't go into that story. I think Brandon might have already told it. The bar lady was giving him some grief, some very undeserved grief. And then there was he showed me a letter that was going around. Oh, you know what? I'm not going to get into that. But there was some grumblings going on around the show. And yeah. Oh no, I've left a little mystery dangling there. No, I'm going to leave that there. Right. And then, Monday we went to Chicago. And just hung around in Chicago, waiting for our plane. And then it was, what did we get there? I had some kind of prime rib sandwich there. That was delicious, actually. In Vanitos. I can't remember. We spent a long time looking for somewhere to eat. It was quite hard. The building's so massive, you just feel like a tiny little nothing person walking against these buildings made for giants. Crazy architecture. Yeah, and then plane home, and then man, that was a long journey. About as long as it took to get to Chicago, funnily enough. And I think I've almost recovered. Almost recovered. I still don't quite know what time zone I'm in. But I'm almost there now. But anyway, I've got some pipes to show you. Yeah, I'm moving on to pipes now. So, which one am I going to show you first? I'll tell you what, some of these are a little bit related, so I'll try and show them in some kind of order. So, I don't think I've shown you guys this one. I'm trying not to show you ones that I've shown you before, but sometimes I lose track. This is a strawberry with plateau rim and a rusticated stem and ebonite mouthpiece. Quite pleased with the grain on this filling, if you can see him there. So a slightly different way of doing strawberries. In the past I've done one with a round bowl, and now this one is like with an elliptical bowl. I was just trying something different. And trying to capture the grain a bit more, so a slightly more flattened profile. Normally this would have been quite round there. But anyway, strawberry. Partly smooth or partly rusticated. And then a recent rendition of a cutty. This one's a smooth fellow. This guy, that's the strawberry actually is still available. This guy is sold. He's about to go off to his new owner. But I tried to do something interesting with the foot of the cutty. I didn't want to do a normal foot, but I did want to do a foot, and so that was the idea that I had. To do almost an extension on the shank, sort of. A kind of a reshaping of the shank, so just raise the bowl a bit slightly there. And this is some of my Cumberland. So it's not a rubber, so it'll never oxidize. But it has that Cumberland feel, but brighter colours. There you go. So that's my smooth cutty. Very, see the slight rim just going around the, no you can't, a little bit there, there you go. Though I say it myself, quite a few little details going on in that fellow. And I did say it myself. Now this pipe got quite a few looks. Obviously, going to Chicago, you're meeting people that, you know, that don't do the social media thing. And so people, you know, were seeing studded pipe for the first time. Some great looks. This guy, this rendition of my Viking horn, so kind of a medium rugged sandblast on this guy, obviously with cat's claw spikes. This is the Berserker, and quite a lot of detail going on in the blast. I don't know if you can see there, but it's like got this like really long ring grain. A little bit of it going onto the bowl there as well. This amused me so much, I can't tell you. But I've had these cat's claws for a long time, but not quite known how I was going to... It took me a long time, so like, obviously it's quite important that all the spikes are pointing up, and that took a little bit of jiggery-pokery, to say the least. I need my drink. Second to last one. This is one of those ones that where if you're following me on social media, you'll have seen this one, but still. Zulu. Black Sandblast. Mother of Pearl stem. I am kind of obsessed with this Mother of Pearl resin. It just adds kind of like another dimension. and it kind of does things under different light. Under these kind of like halogen lights, it tends to pick out the greens. In daylight, it tends to pick out sort of pinky purple. I don't know if it's going to do pinky purple in this light. This light really does seem to pick out the sort of more aquatic notes, which I suppose is okay for mother of pearl. You can see it like kind of like reacting there. Oh, I just thought, you can just see getting a little bit of purple refracting there. Oh, it does different things in different lights. You can see it's like, it can go really quite vivid, and then it sort of like disappears again. It's fascinating stuff. So, San Blessed Zulu, I was going to say, let's pay some attention to the blast there. You can see the kind of like ring grain flowing up. It's kind of like got an arc to it there. I can't remember what's going on the other side. Sort of similar, it's a bit more orderly on that side. Again, a kind of like a medium craggy blast. Medium craggy. Light craggy. Excuse me. So when you've got mother of pearl resin, you really have to use it. Now, one of the shapes I don't think I've shown you is the snail. I don't know if I've done a video with it before. It'd be remiss of me if I have not. But anyway, even if I have, I've not shown this one for sure. And this is kind of a pinnacle piece, if I say so myself. Certainly for me, this was the iridescent snail. Iridescent carnivorous snail. If you can see what's going on in that snail shell. I mean, kind of, you do these things and you sort of hope it'll come together, and it just kind of, can you see what's going on there? Look around there with the colours going off. So this was already a kind of a complex design when done in Briar, and so getting the resin bonding to it as well was kind of another element, especially because ordinarily it is the plateau that I would bond to. But I knew that I wanted, on the snails, the plateau goes up the front. And so I knew that I was going to have to find another way. So I found another way. And then this also has a mother of pearl stem. And on this one, you can see this one likes to go purpley, just about there. You get some purple refraction going off on that side. So there is so much to see on that pipe. So that was my iridescent snail. There you go. Wow, look at that time. I really have waffled on a bit. There was a lot to waffle on about, to be fair. So, do I have any videos planned? I think I might have some tobacco reviews planned. That's probably what's going to happen next. We have the Nottingham UK pipe show coming up at the end of the month on the 26th. So anyone who can make it there, I will see you there. And you will see the full table. And we will have some new pipe stands there as well. And we'll try and have some skull tampers, but we did get bought out pretty heavily. We'll see what time does. We'll see what time says. If we have time, we'll make some more skull tampers for the UK show. But anyway, that is the next big event. So take it easy. I will see you guys soon. Till the next time. Ta-da.